I wonder what the lovely BTN community is saying.
Dilith below said no announcement today and I'm suing mini guy emoji sexy.
But it hasn't really been that long since we posted an update, right? Oh shit. Hello, and welcome to another one of these very on-time devlogs. While CT2 was underway, a lot of work has continued behind the scenes. So in this devlog, let's take a look at one of the most important, evolving parts of BTN, the inventory and the HUD. Let's start with why the HUD is changing in the first place. In games with well-designed UI, the HUD should surface information that is the most useful to the player given their current circumstances. Here are some examples of games that do this really well. Check out this screenshot of Enter the Gungeon. Current ammo, blanks, and health are all placed perfectly within your peripheral vision, and this critical information is always available to you, but never disrupting gameplay. Here's Genshin Impact. UI elements are tightly bound to corners of the screen where possible, and they don't interrupt your view of the game world. When a background is necessary for clarity, it's almost always semi-transparent. With those gems in mind, let's take a look at Legacy. Yikes. While there are a number of design choices here that are a matter of personal distaste, like why is the boosted stat color this horrible green? There are a few parts of this HUD that make it objectively harder for us to build the game. You wanted to see this projectile coming from your right? Too bad. Here's this ancient coin. You wanna see if this player is low on HP? Too bad, they died. But here is this ancient coin. You wanna see this person begging for nudes? Well, okay, we can just barely fit that with this bulky HUD, but I'd imagine that you're starting to see the problem. We don't need to see an ancient coin right now. The number of ancient coins we have in our inventory isn't a useful piece of information to surface while we're in the middle of a fight. It takes up useful screen space without providing anything of value to the player. And speaking of UI components that take up useful screen space without providing anything of value to the player, how about this giant gray box that blocks 20% of the screen? In order to improve clarity in dungeons, fights, cooperative play, and more, this needs to be improved too. This new layout is our first attempt at moving elements into your peripheral vision, reducing wasted space, and surfacing useful, timely information, instead of big gray box. This layout will continue to evolve as we listen to feedback from closed testers, and as we play with these changes ourselves. With that out of the way, let's talk about the new inventory, which is built around the usage of swap outs. We have fairly ambitious goals for items in BTN. In Enter the Gungeon, each weapon serves a niche purpose and has the potential to be useful depending on circumstance. We think this is really cool, at least when it comes to rare loot. So we plan to design items that have distinct identities, thus making swap outs a much more essential part of gameplay. And that's why we're introducing the loadout. Each equipment slot has a loadout, giving you quick access to swap outs for that item. If I tap 1, 2, 3, or 4, I can quickly get the next item in a loadout. Cycling through items is easy, and once we start building items with strong identities, grabbing the right item for the occasion will become a really natural part of gameplay. Of course, since loadouts are bound by equipment type, we're making a few other changes. First, the vault is now going to behave much more like the stash in Path of Exile. Vault tabs are going to be much larger than before, 45 slots instead of 8, and when looting an item, you'll be able to loot directly to your vault. We're also planning to have some special spaces for consumable items and stackable items, but we'll talk more about this in another devlog. Oh, and there are a lot more HUD changes that we're working on, like you can see a work in progress version of the new minimap here. And we plan to completely overhaul the in-game chat, which, among other things, limits the amount of text you can write. Anyway, the new items with distinct identities are going to be cool. And in next week's devlog, we're hoping to show you guys some of those if everything goes according to plan. As always, let us know what you think in our Discord or in the comments down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.